Hey, Coach Fuller. All in all, how did you feel the defense perform this evening in the scrimmage? Initial takes on what they did.
I thought we tackled well. I thought we ran the ball well. I thought we created some takeaways. Got good pressure early in the scrimmage. Overall, it was a pretty clean first scrimmage. I thought the first half was a lot better than the second half. I think we got a little fatigued and got a little sloppy there towards the finish. Saw a lot of good signs early.
Right next to the Irish Phil from Warchant.
Hey, Coach. When we've been out there practice, we've seen Shaheen do some really good things, and Coach said that he had an interception tonight. How impressed have you been with Shaheen so far in camp?
We've been impressed. Shaheen's somebody that we're leaving him at Buck and trying to just get as many reps as we can. What that's going to look like early in the season, we're still unsure. But he's got a really good attitude towards it. He's got a great frame and he's got good movements, and the greatest thing about him back in high school was he did a lot of things well. And, now we're using all those talents. We're trying to just get it into one position so that he can sort of focus on getting better at things. But, you saw something, he flashed a lot, and then he showed some freshman, just ball gets snapped and he ends up on the other side of the field, and like just the freshman things that can happen. But, he's a good learner and he's working at it. And, I think the frame, the skill, and the personality is a really good fit for us.
Next to be Andre Fernandez from Tallahassee Democrat.
Hey, Coach. I know it's still relatively early in camp, but how would you evaluate what you've seen out of your interior guys so far in terms of like the run defense, that sort of thing, like where they're at right now?
Yeah, I think our front is considerably better right now. From where we were in the spring to where we are now. I've seen a lot of marked improvement on just base effort, their understanding, their physicality at the point. I think I've seen a lot of strides, positive direction. I think JP and Coach Hagan's are doing a really good job with that front, and I feel good about it right now. I think we've made the necessary strides from where we were at the end of spring to now. You've seen marked improvement, so now you can continue to see more growth in other areas, and just continue to build that depth that we're going to need up front in order to play the way we need to.
Next to be Austin Cox from Warchant.
Hey, Coach Fuller, hope you're doing well. Just want to ask you about the start to the scrimmage. How pleased are you with that, particularly coming off the trip to Jacksonville and the energy level, which Coach Norvell mentioned he was pleased with?
Yeah, well, the start, we got them. We start with the red zone, and it was first and goal from the 10, and I think it was ended up third and goal from the 8. And we kind of let the tight end get loose there and gave up a touchdown early. We had good pressure, but kind of cut a coverage that we didn't want to. The 2s came out, got a good stop, and we came back with the 1s, and played good stout defense. I think, when you start out the red zone, I think it's a great way to start the scrimmage because that's all about one-on-ones. There's just limited space, and you got to defend so much run game down there. And so that was a good start. And I thought the energy overall was good, especially early in the scrimmage. I thought it was good for both sides. I think as the defense played well, you saw some of those backs really lower their pads and fall forward towards the end of scrimmage. I think that's what you're looking for. You're looking for, listen, I want us to play great on defense. Kenny wants to play great on offense, and we work together to make sure we're competing the way it needs to look. But got a lot of players necessary reps tonight, and it'll be crucial to make sure we take good jumps from scrimmage 1 to 2 days here. We jump back on the practice field.
This will be Harry from Tallahassee.
Coach Norvell mentioned earlier that there was turnovers and that it was a little bit of a mix of offense failures combined with defensive presence. Do you agree with that 50-50 split?
Yeah, listen, when we run the alley and make a great open field tackle and the ball goes flying because we put our face on the ball and recover it, that's a great play. When the center snaps the ball and it hits the quarterback's hands and it falls on the ground, we jump on it. Still both counts as takeaways, but obviously there are certain forced ways. So, yeah, I think, the first scrimmage when you got a lot of bodies around and there's a lot of contact, not to make an excuse for the offense, but there's a chance the ball's going to get on the ground. But we got to own it offensively. But, I thought it was obviously good for the defense because you want to feed off that energy and make sure we're giving the ball back to the offense good places. So I think, listen, if you're going to play with good aggression, take great angles and play fast and knock the ball and hit the ball, I mean, we're going to be able to create takeaways. And that's something we work on every day. And, you know, it's good when you see positive feedback from scrimmages on that.
All right, we'll go back to Chris.
Coach Norvell singled out Hunter Washington for a big play tonight. Just what has he shown in these 6 practices in the scrimmage about what he can do in that secondary? And is his attitude unique for a freshman? He seems to be kind of chippy and willing to mix it up with people.
No, Hunter is a competitor. He was kind of a leader in that recruiting class. You know, and obviously he had a great high school season, you know, state champion. And, you know, since the day Hunter's been here, he's confident, but, you know, he's very willing to work and very willing to just, you know, whatever the rep, third group, second group, even today at the end, got a few snaps with the first group. And, you know, Hunter he's got playmaking to him, you know, whether you know, right now we've got him at corner. That's where I feel like he's going to stay. I think he's got some nickel to him. You know, I think he's got a lot of football. You see him tackle, make plays on the ball. You see him in one-on-one coverage, you know. I think that's what corners need to look like, right? The days of just, well, I'm a cover guy. I mean, makes everybody tackle nowadays. And, you know, in our defense, we're going to make sure that everybody is involved in the blitz game. And I think Hunter brings that skill set that he can do a lot of different things. So I think he's going to have an impact in the kicking game. We're going to bring him along at corner. But with his mindset and his attitude and his competitive nature, I won't close the door on anything that he'll get done this fall. Obviously, he's got a long way to go being a freshman and just kind of learning the ropes of how to compete every day and kind of learn the scheme and things that come with that. But I like what Hunter brings to the table.
We'll go back to Ira.
You guys had to force, you know, some young guys into action last year, Steven Dix and a few other guys, Travis J. But you were hopeful that experience would help them springboard, you know, pay off this year. What have you seen for the first week of camp and the scrimmage? Are you seeing that paying off for some of those guys that played early last year?
You know, I think even Ira, obviously Steven played a lot, right? So he came, but like even guys like Kalen DeLoach, who, you know, if we go back, like he started the season and, you know, then he kind of fell off and then played a little bit more towards the middle and the end. But it was game experience under us. So there's something that we can definitely go back upon. There's history there. Some guys, you know, some success, some guys it was some failure. But there's a lot of people in the back end at linebacker, you know, up front. I mean, they're all reps that all mattered. You know, there was no discounted reps. Hey, this was at the end of the game against whoever. So, you know, yes, you're seeing that, and there's some history of like, hey, you remember when you played it like this? This is the right, and you can kind of go back and you got some history with them, which I think is important. You know, especially if they got if they just got the talent and the skill, and then you put that with some history of playing the position or having success with it, it makes it easier to connect what it looks like moving forward. So, yeah, we played a lot of different guys in the back end last year. You know, so that is it's not gonna hurt. It's got to help. You know, we've just got to continue to see that develop. But I do feel like there's a starting point where it's not ground zero with these guys because of the opportunities that they had last year to play a lot of football.
Next is Kurt. Go back to Kurt.
I know Jarquez is somebody who got here in January, but you didn't have him much in the spring. I guess what have you seen from him, obviously, in that role at safety? It seems like he's been a playmaker of sorts back there from what we've seen.
Yeah, Pat's got natural football movement to him. You know, he tracks the ball really well in the air and on ball carriers. You know, he takes good angles to the football. You know, so Pat will help us. You know, we've got him at safety. That was a move we made in the spring to try and get more athletic back there. And Pac's picked up well. We got to keep him on the field, keep him healthy, keep him working. And I think Pac has a chance to help us on defense this year.
All right, last one, we'll go to Aslan.
Coach, have you learned how to reach these guys a little bit better this time around in camp, or are these guys able to have do they have a better understanding of what you're telling them this time around?
You're talking about relationships?
Just relationships, their understanding of how you want this defense executed. Brendan talked about how yesterday about how much more comfortable he is in this defense. Is it more of you being able to deliver a clearer message, or these guys just got better hearing and such this time?
Do they have better hearing? Well, that's it. I'll ask them. But no, I think, listen, we played an entire season, whatever last season was with, it was a different type of season, but it was history. I think we had that question before from a standpoint of, do you see the growth of guys that you invested reps last year? And we invested reps because they were the best players we thought that could get the job done. And now a good percentage of those guys are back. So there's absolutely I want to say a higher foundation, right? Let's put it that way, of history of playing for us, with us. And yeah, so I think there's a better overall understanding of what we want, how we got to do it. And there's a better response right now for sure from my end.
All right. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Recording stopped.